Hello and welcome to Real Live on this beautiful Friday afternoon. I'm Mike Rothman, joined by my usual panel of pop culture experts. We got Kelly, we got Candice, we got Mike. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
Oh my God, that was such a great unison thing. Aside from this head cold, I'm doing okay. So
I like your glasses, bro.
thanks, man.
Looks really good
I like
on
your
you.
blazer.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Looking fantastic.
The bromance. Thank you.
Hate to stop this love affair, but tonight we have a new movie coming out, Murder on the Orient Express. Another remake. I feel like we're in the genre of reboots, revivals, and remakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a headline I used for a story once. So, one, what do you think about the movie? And two, what do you think about this whole era of reboots we're in right now?
Well, the movie's not good, sadly.
Ooh.
We're gonna start right there.
So it's all positive today. It's all positive.
The movie is not good.
What
I mean,
makes
one of the biggest reasons why it just doesn't work is because it's a film that doesn't modernize from the original, and I think that's what makes a good remake great.
Okay.
Is that it modernizes, it actually brings it into some kind of current events or something that it looks like something that would happen today. This does not. From the way in which they talk, like slang, to their wardrobe, to just the fact that they're on, a train, which it's just none of it is very, very, very outdated, and the way in which like the murder is solved is very, very, very outdated.
Should it have been Murder on JetBlue C-23?
Maybe on like I don't
Murder on the L
know,
train.
Airbnb or something like that.
Knock
I
on
don't
wood,
know.
too.
It's just
I
like-
fly JetBlue, so I don't know why I said that,
I
jinxing
know.
myself.
Yeah, don't do that.
I think that's really interesting, actually, though, because off of that, one of my favorite remakes in recent years, any excuse to talk about the Coen brothers, True Grit, was fabulous. And I think that even though it's a Western and an older movie, I mean, Jeff Bridges really elevated that character, even though it was famously done by John Wayne, and how do you outdo that? But I think that the way they changed the tone to be more true to the book and to the historical context in the way that the original didn't really do that was really impressive. And so I think that, for me, is a good example of ones that have done it well and done it right.
I'm not opposed to a remake, but as Candice said, this one, I saw the trailer, and it's not drawing me to come to the movie theater this Friday. I think a remake should have some update. It should feel modernized in a very interesting way. We know so much of the story, but it's not like we wanted to see this movie be remade. It wasn't that great of a success when it came out the first time. So I don't know what was the draw to have this. And I think to still do it in the same dialect, and the same isms, and the same mannerisms that this has, I think it's interesting. But what up to know all of this from period piece, Downton Abbey had a very unique way of really capturing our attentions from across age and demographics. And I found that to be interesting. But I think for a lot of individuals, there was a newness to it. There was like a sense of discovery. And I think there is no newness to this movie and to this concept. So I don't know what the appeal is for it. But fantastic actors, though, nonetheless.
It's a great cast. I mean,
But is that the
very
kiss of
pretty.
death usually? Like usually when there's too many A-listers, that's not a good sign. It's like they're just throwing people together and being like, let's make this.
I think
that's what makes this story. I think that's what makes this story so interesting, is because it's such a wide array of characters and such a wide array of actors that are playing these people, which makes what actually transpires in it that much more interesting. But this is not an interesting movie. That's what should happen, but this is not what does
First of all, Candice Frederick, where have you been? Awesome, thank you, by the way.
in fairness, though, to your point of when it's such an amazing cast, what about Ocean's 11? I mean, you look at that star-studded cast, and that was an excellent remake.
What reminded you of that movie by any chance?
Star-studded, I don't know. It's so weird. We might even have a picture to show.
But Ocean's 11 though had a fantastic cast, and it was very, it was updated.
Modern,
it was
modern.
very modern.
It was super modern.
And it was ways that everyone kind of relate to. Everyone's had a Las Vegas experience, or everyone has had a vision of what they think Las Vegas should be, and everybody's had this idea of what a heist is.
It really
and
definitely.
So that was new. It was fun. A fantastic ensemble.
Oh, look at the
cast.
picture.
And so we see, so there we go. But it was very interesting, and I think each actor put their own stamp on it, which was really interesting. And I don't know if these actors that are in this remake currently will be able to have the strength to put their own twist onto it, right? Because throwing me off is Johnny Depp. I think the casting was actually interesting too as well.
A guy
Johnny
who doesn't
Depp
even watch his own
relationship to
movies.
Penelope Cruz to it was
You know,
Is Johnny Depp an A-list actor anymore, is my question.
Well, I think the majority would say no, although I actually I have a love-hate relationship with him. I think he's actually the most interesting person in this movie, and he's not even in it very long. If you guys know the story, you know exactly what happens to his character. But I think because something happens to him, there's something that just is somewhat interesting. I think that's something that kind of moves the progression of the plot along that the other characters just don't do. They just kind of sit there and look pretty and say, "Oh my gosh, this is
his
terrible.
role kind of the only one that transcends forward, whereas the others kind of stay put, even though they're on a train."
Right.
I also wonder what you guys think of this. If this is a straight, again, the difference between reboots, revivals, and reunions is a little. The nuances are different. Something from this, if this is a straight, I've never seen the original one. If it's a straight, like, bringing into the future kind of thing, like the modernizing now, how that compares to, like, what Star Wars is doing. That was the most convoluted introduction to this question. But, like, Star Wars is basically, the new trilogy is doing a little bit of the old cast with new storylines that are leading to people like John Boyega and Daisy Ridley. Is that the new way to do this? Like, do we need remakes, or is this the best way to do it? To kind of like revamps, basically.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars is a little bit different because Star Wars has such a cult following. Like, everyone's a fan of Star Wars, right? And so you want to see another iteration of Star Wars, right? I don't think we want to see another iteration of this movie, and I think that's the challenge with this film versus Star Wars or versus Star Trek. There's always, like, this legacy film, the legacy properties. Like, books are iconic, right? And
intellectual property.
Intellectual property, right? And then the toys and the merchandising and all those things, and people get into costumes and people do Comic-Con, related to these type of characters, and I don't think this movie kind of has that following whatsoever. I still don't get it. I'm honestly.
Are you talking about a certain ABC reporter who's dressed up as Luke Skywalker at Comic-Con? That might have been the case.
Man. That was well played.
I think there's a nostalgia aspect that I think Hollywood has been playing with for a while, and I think that they thought that this was going to, hinge on that or, be a part of that, and I just don't think it worked out. And I think, Kenneth Branagh, I think he directed, stars in it, has the longest monologues in the movie, and it seems more like a pet project for him, like obviously something that he really loved and that he just wanted to bring forth, and I really think that he might have been alone on that.
Yeah, I think to your earlier point, and maybe that's partly why, you have the critiques that you have, but it's a lot to do with, if the fan base isn't there from the get-go, how are you going to sell it? How are you going to make people
and also,
see
another thing, though, is that I think Hollywood's going to have to take a cue from the smaller screen, from television. Currently, right now, the reason why television is winning is because the characters are so very authentic, right? The characters are very complicated.
They're taking
risks,
characters
are very nuanced. Even what you were saying with Star Wars and the revamp of it, they're adding new dimensions and elements to these characters altogether. I don't think we want to go to, first of all, going to a movie is a challenge in and of itself, right? Because you have so many things you compete with, right? The Netflix and on demand and streaming before you even need to get to a movie theater. So when I go,
I like how you say theater.
But I want to see characters that are very nuanced and very complicated, right? And then I want to see them nuanced and being very complicated in relation to the other characters, right? And I think that's what we want to see in films, and those are films that did really great. We talked about in this show the horror genre, and the reason why horror is doing so well is the latest properties, they had nuance. They was very complex. They just wasn't like they jump out and scare you. And
you brought up horror. Speaking of, like, obviously It was a great remake. What movies do you think should be remade in that style that will be successful?
Within horror?
Oh no, any style. Sorry, I'm just saying like It was remade and it was done so well and people loved it now. Are there other movies that are primed for remakes?
You know what's so interesting? Speaking of Johnny Depp, I was excited for the remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I was let down by that one, but I think a lot of people were. I mean, I think that one's, it's almost like there's certain movies that they're kind of like too classic, right? And if you mess with them and people don't absolutely love it and they're not on board right away,
you can't
setting yourself up for a little bit of a failure there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm generally against the whole remake thing, but I'm for films that were bad to be remade, because I'm like, okay, even like something like Christine, the other Stephen King adaptation, which I actually thought was really bad, or even Firestarter, which I also thought was really bad. I think that those could be great today, have they exist in today's kind
Ahead of their time kind of
context?
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I was going to talk about that, Candice. I was going to think about bad movies that need to be made over, but I was going to go to the comedy genre. And I think Airplane, to see Airplane made now.
That's a good one.
Airplane is a good one.
That's a
batch of
really good
comedians
one.
that we have that
Turn
are
off your cell
unafraid to go there and to be aggressive with it. I think that would be really interesting to see Airplane.
That is a
again.
good shout. Someone should be listening.
Moving on from movies to music, a new class of songwriters were just announced as nominees for the Songwriters Hall of Fame. We have a fun little game we're going to play using photos of all things. Is that?
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and read some lyrics in my most earnest way. You guys are going to have your phones, and they have Real Live on it. You know, go figure. It's the logo for the show. And if you know the song or the artist immediately, raise it up fast, and then I'm gonna have to make a judgment call on who is first.
Okay.
Which is really gonna be challenging.
Kelly, good luck.
Ooh.
If you're not first, you're last.
Feel free to like kind of smack
Camera
the
one,
phone out.
camera one right here. Camera one, please, folks.
All right, it's leaving me good. Do you guys want?
the leg roll.
I'm gonna be as monotone as possible, a la Alex Trebek, and see what we can do here.
I got it.
Oh my gosh.
What song is that? All right, sorry.
Jeopardy. The
There
Jeopardy.
will be penalties for throwing it up for no reason. Okay. I gotta say this with a straight face. I'm up at Brooklyn. Now I'm in Tribeca. Yes.
Do we say the artist? Jay-Z.
Yes.
Yes.
What's a bonus question? What's the song?
Empire State of Mind.
Ooh, dang.
Good one, Kels.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
I was so
I will say that's one of my favorite Jay-Z songs. So
Really?
Oh, we're also gonna play the song afterwards.
now I get to hear it.
Oh,
It's a double win.
Yeah, I'm up at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever.
I
I'm the new Sinatra.
don't remember that line at all.
And since I
Really?
made it, I can make it
I can rap.
Such a great song. I put Jay-Z back in
It's a
my
good one.
rotation
Alright.
recently.
I
Definitely.
think I sound just like Jay-Z, by the way. So.
Yeah.
You in the
I
Songwriters
didn't
Hall of
even
Fame,
realize.
man.
We got a next one from a classic artist. Please allow me to introduce myself. Boom.
Jay-Z.
No. Would
you
we
keep
ever
going
do
with
back
the
to back the
lyrics?
same artist?
Can you
Too
keep
soon.
going?
I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul and faith. I love this song.
Such a great lyric. Such a great line.
Oh, I know.
It's on the tip
Can't
of my
quite get
tongue.
the song.
I'll keep going. I know, actually, it's not
Yeah.
even down here. I will go off memory. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
Oh,
Because why puzzling you?
I'm gonna hurt us. Okay, the
Is
Rolling
the-
Stones.
Mick Jagger.
Jagger.
Yes. Who am I?
Meet you. Dun, 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 dun.
You want to feel bad for...
I don't know the name.
Okay, Sympathy for the Devil.
There it is.
Do we have a lyric of this?
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man
That is classic.
and taste.
I would never got this.
I've been around for many a long year. Stole many a man's soul and faith.
Jay-Z also says, allow me to introduce myself.
He does.
Okay, let me, just to be
Jay-Z.
clear, he does say that too.
All right, kiddos, I got a tearjerker up next, since I'm a soulful kind of guy. No. No takers? Wait, you're raising it up?
You said
Already?
No takers. You said no takers, and that was
Okay.
a challenge.
Okay, what is the song is
Was
that?
it not Destiny's Child?
Nope.
All right.
That's a good quest, though.
Yeah.
No. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
That was gone.
I'm like singing it in my
Oh! Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls by TLC.
This is also remade years later. So this is the original, but it was remade. Go.
Big Yellow Taxi.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Who is the
not
original
right.
singer?
What?
Who's the original? Oh.
Oh well, there it is.
Was it Joni Mitchell played?
Oh. Janet Jackson did this one.
Yeah.
She did.
That's what, I was going to say Janet Jackson, but I
And
realized
Counting
you guys were
Crows.
Counting Crows.
Right, that's right.
Adam
All right, I got. We're gonna do like a lightning round of 2 questions that I only have
gosh.
2 lines for you. And if you don't get this is embarrassing. I see a little silhouette of a man. The next line, he was fired from the White House.
I redact it.
Scaramouche, Scaramouche.
Yeah,
Will
I
you
know
do the
it.
fandango?
I can sing it in my mind.
You'd be great for karaoke, Kelly.
I know.
You're really good.
Your voice sounds like angel hymns.
I'm clueless on this one.
Can you read those
Maybe
two
they
lines
played
again?
them.
Okay. Mama, I just killed
The
a
Who?
man.
Oh.
Oh, Bob O'Reilly.
Bob O'Reilly?
No,
Who's Bob
wait, is it-
O'Reilly?
that's the
Is
name of the
is
song.
it Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah!
I got one.
I was like right on track.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango?
Sorry,
Singing
don't
it
let
in
me
my
sing.
head, and then
All right.
It's in there reading the
Last
I
one.
will say
We
that
can do
is
this all
the
day long. This is
trickiest part.
fantastic. All right,
If he
last
says it
one.
so
Last
much.
one. Singing, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing gonna be all right.
Bob Marley.
Yes. Three Little Birds.
Great one.
Roll it.
Singing, don't worry.
Also that music video.
Which I actually have never seen.
Every little thing is gonna be alright.
That's a great video.
I hate to say that I'm out of questions, but that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. That
And
was fun.
I just have to say, the monotone and not hearing it
Yeah,
makes
that
it
really
so
hard.
tough.
It's really
Well-
fun to
well
say.
played,
It's
sir.
really fun
Well
to say it
played.
like that too.
Yeah, just take all the emotions out of it, man.
So the 2008 nominees, we have amongst them what we have. We had what, John Cougar Mellencamp, we were saying. we
Yeah,
were speaking
John
earlier.
Mellencamp, Mariah Carey.
Carey's on there. Was there anybody that you believed? I mean, obviously we don't have this memorized as far as the inductees, but is there anybody you think was snubbed that's due? I mean, today we had a lot of new music. We had, Taylor Swift drop an album. We had Eminem drop a song. Is there anybody that you're expecting in the future, excited for for their lyrics and for them to be one day inducted into
Adele.
Adele, yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Sia. I think she's created a very interesting landscape. I think this girl Stargate, I think they created a really interesting landscape. I'm also Metro Boomin has created a very interesting landscape with top charts across the billboards, as well as Mike Will Made It. Mike Will Made It is synonymous for a lot of the
he's great.
large, big songs that we've heard, such as Formation by Beyonce. So I'm curious to see the types of songs and songwriters that we will see going forward in the future, but also, too, the dynamic of music writing has changed. Long gone are the days of one writer writing for one song. Now
Right.
it's such a collaborative process. Some songs you have up to 7 writers, some even 10, right? And so I'm curious to see as we move forward with this new style of writing and collaboration, because artists now want a piece of that publishing, right? Because artists now, they're not making money off albums per se, right? And so they want to make sure they have more revenue sources and streams in order to get that. So I think we're going to see more of the artists themselves involved in the writing,
Yeah.
and then we're going to see much more collaborators with it. So that'll be interesting to see how does the Songwriters Hall of Fame begin then to select and choose, and does the criteria change?
Yeah, I think you made an interesting point too about songwriters who write for multiple different artists. You have Max Martin, who
That's always
was an
fascinating,
inductee. He was a writer for NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, but then he's also elevated it into a modern generation, and he's got people like Taylor Swift, Katy Perry. A little awkward there, with a feud going on, but no, yeah. To your point, it's really cool to see that there are a lot of songwriters being recognized for the fact that they can write across multiple,
And other artists who
genres of
haven't made it big
music.
yet. I mean, Jessie J was a big-time writer before she hit it with her song, which goes, "Don't need the money, money, money. Don't want your money, money, money."
Yeah.
So I can do this all day long.
I'm back in the game now. Put my
Raise your
phone up.
phone.
Yeah.
So I think it is that time for some real talk. I want to go around the horn and see what everybody's excited for the weekend. Let's kick it off with someone with a fantastic name, Mike.
Right at you, Mike. I'm excited. I've been excited ever since 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time here when Eminem dropped his song with Beyonce called Walk on Water. I think we're going to be talking about that not just today, but every day for the remainder of the year, how awesome this song is. And what I love most about this song, Rothman, is that it really humanizes both he and Beyonce. And I think it really talks about that we walk on water, yes, but only when it's frozen, right? Because we are human. As far too often, we as fans put these artists on this great pedestal, especially these two icons. We expect them to rise to the occasion each and every single time. But I think it goes to another point of like the everyday citizens and human beings, like especially if you're in high high school or college, like you're expected to be great. You're expected to be a billionaire right out of college now. So the pressure that we put on society now is so great, and always having to rise to the occasion, and sometimes we lose that human aspect of it. And I think Beyonce and Eminem is here to remind us today that one, they are human, and that it's okay to make mistakes. And I think that's a message that could be translated throughout almost every human being.
That's awesome.
So mine has to be, in the last 24 hours, Taylor Swift dropping some more of her music.
I also want to know
Reputation.
if this is a little bit of a shade from Eminem and Beyonce.
Yeah,
Stepping on Taylor's big day.
But I mean, her fans, Taylor Swift fans, are a different breed of music fans. And yeah, in the video that you're seeing there, I mean, she invited fans to her home in Rhode Island to shoot this video, met with them after, you know, spent a lot of time dedicating this song, New Year's Day, to her fans. And I think it was just really nice to see that. It's very different, unlike a lot of other videos that I've seen.
Did you tear up during that song?
I will be honest, I did not tear up. No,
Ooh,
I did not.
look at you.
But you know, Kelly,
Heart of stone.
I'm glad you brought Taylor into this, because I think it's going to be interesting to see as we move forward and we kind of watch this in terms of Eminem and Beyonce dropping at noon. Taylor already came out this morning. How then do we measure success, right? Because yes, as you said, Taylor's fans are going to buy regardless,
well, and in
right?
fairness, I mean, her whole marketing strategy for Reputation has
she's
been all about,
and she's staying off streaming too to boost sales too. So I wonder what that means. Like,
but I wonder, do we go into like impressions though,
that?
right? Because I think Eminem and Beyonce are going to dominate the conversation, where I don't think Taylor Swift is going to dominate the conversation for the weekend, but they may dominate in terms of metrics, in terms of units sold and pushed through.
Yes,
so what's going to be the metrics?
I don't want to
of
extend the real talk too long.
Sorry, but great point, Council.
No, but you're making a good point.
Really
there was a great newsletter that was written that was sent around this week that was kind of comparing unit sales to fans like loving the music. So like if you're taking it off streaming and the fans can't like listen to it over and over and over again, but they buy the album, does that like fracture the relationship with the artist down the road?
Yeah, it really does. I think so, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. honestly, I mean, I'm kind of a traditionalist. I do like to buy CDs. I like to support the artists. But would I? So the question is, would I just?
Well, my question was, what's your real talk? But you can
go. Oh my goodness, I wasn't even. I'm sorry, I was not even prepared for that. So, I thought we were talking about Taylor Swift still. So my real talk this week.
My apologies.
On the couch.
You like Beyonce, Eminem.
Right, I was just like, oh, am I?
You were caught in like a
Ocean's 11
existential crisis in the middle of your
She's
song.
about to raise her buzzer again.
Rolling Stones.
The Girlfriend Experience, which is on Stars. It has returned last Sunday. It's an anthology drama. The first season was absolutely amazing. It was it starred Riley Keough, who is the granddaughter of Elvis Presley, daughter of Lisa Marie Presley. She was actually fantastic in it, and I've never seen her act before. Yeah, and that surprised, like, shocked me. But it is basically about sex workers. And really about the power play. I'm just going to get it out there. So it's really about the power dynamics of sex and how women particularly use sex in order to control the bedroom and control the corporate space as well, and often is the only way in which they can. And so that's like my spiel.
It's not topical at all. It's not.
Right. But it does it in a very. It's very kind. It opens up a conversation in which how women, basically the women's gaze when we talk about sex, as opposed to the male gaze, which is a very different presentation. This is very, very different in the way in which they actually are telling the story, where as opposed to if it was an actual male screenwriter with a male star, completely different. So I love how bold it is and how interesting they take the actual narrative of sex workers.
That's great.
That's great.
I don't know how to follow that one. My next one includes my grandfather, which is awkward. We have Vets Day tomorrow, and my grandfather's a World War II vet, and so I'm excited to check out. It's not anything new, but it's called 5 Came Home. It's on Netflix. It's been up for this year, since I think February, and it's great. It kind of talks about something that we don't see these days anymore whatsoever. So World War II obviously was a completely different era than what we have now. My grandfather was in this war. We all have family members that were involved in one way or another, and kind of like how the Hollywood times have changed. How Hollywood, for the betterment of the country, really got involved and kind of got the hearts and minds and boots on the ground and really inspired a country to right or wrong that was going on across the globe. There's Hollywood now. It's very vastly different, but it's I highly recommend that. Or if there's anything else on the queue that you want to watch that's involved in vets, I think there needs to be more of a light shine on this kind of thing, and reach out to someone that if a family member or friend, and just kind of talk about that situation.
Speaking of World War II, Mudbound is coming out November 17th. I think on Netflix, and that actually deals with World War II as well, and PTSD.
Nice. I'm going to check that out. Well, that was a great real talk.
It was, yeah.
Well, it's got to end sometime. Sorry, we'll be back again soon, I'm sure. But for Mike, for Candice, for Kelly, I am Mike Rothman, and we'll see you again soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.